Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And you may remember I did this box a week or so ago to create a fun gift with this beautiful star-topped front. And when I was looking at it, when I was putting these under the tree, I kind of thought, you know what, that would make a beautiful ornament. And I thought, do I go for this size or do I go a bit smaller? So I've actually gone a bit smaller to create this pretty 3D ornament to go on your Christmas tree. You'll see I've got a bit of silver embossing on there just to add that little bit of sparkle to it, and I've actually wink of stellared the triangles as well, just to add a bit of shine, which I'm not sure whether you can see there or not, but that was my first starting point actually, was to do the wink stella, and it just wasn't quite enough, so I thought perfect, you just want a bit of contrast to make that lovely star shape stand out. And of course therefore I've used my lovely snowflake wishes and this super little dinky snowflake element that we've got here, which just fits perfectly across our ornament. So there'll be a bit of heat embossing, so there might be a bit of noise, but let's get started. So small amount of cardstock needed. You're going to need a ruler and an embossing tool as well as your trimmer, but let's get started. I just thought they were a really pretty way to kind of add a bit of Christmas fun. So a piece of cardstock that is just 7 centimetres by 19 centimetres, and you're going to score at 3 centimetres. Right, okay. In fact, I'm going to cut a fresh piece of cardstock because I've just scored far too firmly on that one. So 7 centimetres, let's start again, by 19 centimetres. And on that short edge, just score lightly, not too firmly, 3 centimetres and 3 centimetres again. So you're just scoring with a 1 centimetre channel down the middle. And then we're going to score every 3 centimetres across the top. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 and 18. So pop our trimmer away, and I'm actually going to come in now and do my scoring with my ruler, which you may or may not be able to see terribly well, but it is really simple. So for each of these squares, so you've got a channel down the middle which is just 1 centimetre wide. So if I just fold that and show you, and you've then got a row of 3 centimetre squares on either side of that, and you're scoring diagonally across those 3 centimetre squares. So you're having to do separate scores, you can't just go diagonally all the way across, and at one end you've got a little joining tab that we'll be using as well. So I do this actually on a fairly firm surface, so you don't need your embossing mat here. I find actually seems to work better on a hard surface to get a nice score line. And last one, like so. You're going to repeat that in the opposite direction, so you're literally scoring across in each of these squares. You'll see all I'm doing is I'm lining up where those score lines meet and just scoring across. Like so. And I find that this actually works better on the card than it does on a DSP. I did have a look with some DSP, but I found you kind of lost the pattern a little bit. So once you've done that, you've got diagonal scores across each of the boxes, which you can hopefully see now. I've reinforced that. Okay, and now you're going to score straight lines on each of those, just to where those cross. So if I show you that, so what I've done is I line up my ruler with those 2 crosses and then just score on either side of those, and it is easier to spot those once you've reinforced them. Now the other thing is you can pop it back into your trimmer and do that as well, so you would then score at, again, every 3 centimetres, but starting from the end without the small panel at 1.5 centimetres. But if you've got your ruler out anyway to do these, I found it was actually just as probably more accurate to do it. So you're kind of creating this, I say, little double effect. On each side. But as I say, they come together really in very little time at all. You've just got to make sure you score those creases, those score lines well, like so. Okay, so as I've said, so I've done the first one. I'm just going to line up those two. So it's just these outer little ones. What I'll do is I'll try and do one in paper to show you, and then all you do with those ones is just pinch them together. So you can see I'm just pinching those little scores together, and then we're going to come in and punch some holes. I've got a 1/8 punch here, which is an old Stampin' Up one, but any sort of small hole punch that you've got would work for this, as long as you can get it into that little piece. So I'm going to come along and just punch a hole in each of those, like so. And you'll notice I'm doing all of this before I'm doing my embossing, because once you've got all of this punched, it just makes it easier to see which bits you're stamping onto, particularly with Versamark. So I'm just going along, and just to say, when I did my sort of jar box, and the same on the other side. Perhaps I should have done a Blue Peter moment and prepared one a bit earlier for you, rather than you sitting here watching me punch. It doesn't take too long though. What I can't find though, I have to say, for the next bit is my embossing buddy. I have misplaced it, put it somewhere safe, probably staring me in the face. Right, so you will end up with something like this. There we go. Holes top and front. So what we're going to do is across this middle section, I've just got a cloth here that I'm going to use to try and... So across each of these sections, we're now going to stamp with our Versamark. So I've got my Versamark and I've got my little stamp set, and just to vary it, I'm going to alternate, so up and down on each of those. And so this just happens to be, well, it's sized to be the perfect size for this stamp set. Now you could do this in 2 halves if you wanted to, if you're worried about your Versamark sort of drying out, but it really doesn't take very long. What you will need is a sheet of paper to capture your embossing powder. Just sprinkle liberally, and then give that a good... Now you'll see this is exactly why you use your embossing buddy, because what I'm going to do is just brush those away. Nice thumbprints on there. So any stray bits or bits that haven't, just check that you've got it. And obviously, you know, if you wanted to, you could ink the edges of these as well. So all I'm going to do now is pop my embossing powder away. Those of you who've watched my videos will know that in the past I have been known to knock the complete pot over. Actually, although they don't happen very often, because those are the occasions when I just kind of go, no, I've really got to just start again. So get your heat tool, and then you're just going to come in from underneath and just heat until that embossing powder melts. So just take a few moments for that to come up to temperature, and hopefully you can see that starting to sparkle and change. And just move it along. As you do your heat embossing, you'll just allow it to melt, and then you'll see it just needs a few seconds, a few moments longer, just to kind of even out, and then you've got a lovely embossed appearance. We're now going to join at this end and then pop our hole punch in to add our thread. So glue across the whole end and just pop that together. Like so. And while that is still flat, this is probably the most difficult hole to punch because it's got extra layers. Just punch through the centre of that one there. And then we're on to the popping it together. So you've got a choice. You can use our lovely Flowers for Every Season ribbon. And what you can do with this is, if you don't want the blue in it, I've shown this before, but it is really easy to just pull the Misty Moonlight strand just by feeding that down. Just keep gently stretching. Get rid of the Misty Moonlight, and then you've got a lovely silver and white thread. I'm just using a sewing needle here. I'm just going to pop that through. It's a bit of a big one, but it'll work. And all we're going to do is pop those through each of those points that we did together. And I've just found, I don't know why I didn't think of it before, this is just so much easier to do than trying to thread it through. Right, so this is the most tricky one, the first one, because obviously it hasn't gone into place. So all you do is just pull those gently together, and you'll see those will start to come, and just pop them down into the centre, and you'll see those will go into the centre there. The trickiest bit on this bit is tie it together and just keep your finger putting a little bit of pressure on that centre point while you tie that off. So keep the pressure down, and then you can just come in and snip away the excess. Okay, turn it over, just do exactly the same again. So again, just through those, you can see where you've pinched them together, that's where it makes it easier to do the hole punching. And just keep your finger on the end there so it doesn't disappear. And then do exactly the same again, just pull that together. You might find it easier to tie it first. And just any of those, there we go, just push in. As I said, as you do that, just if you keep the pressure on the centre, it will allow it to just stop it. Well, it won't. It'll stop it popping up. And then add some thread. Now, you could obviously use the same thread again if you wanted to. I just happen to have some silver thread here, which I'm just going to use in exactly the same way. So that was the Flowers for Every Season ribbon. It comes in a ribbon combo, that one actually, which is lovely. And then where you've got your hole, just pop that through. And then loop it through. And there we have, if we do a double-handed knot, double overhand on the top there, snip it away. Our pretty little origami star-topped snowflake decorations ready to pop on your Christmas tree, or you could add to a gift maybe, you know, it's just a bit of fun for the festive season. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy making these, and if you'd like to purchase the Snowflake Wishes or any of the other products you've seen today, just pop along to my blog at flutterbyheidi.co.uk. You'll find all the links there. Alternatively, if you click on the description down arrow, the little down arrow next to the description below this video, you'll find links to all the products in my shop there. Love it if you chose me a demonstrator. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.